Yo, what's up everybody? It's Austin from Pimp My PC Build. Today we're going to go through the process of how to properly cable manage a PC. Alright, so first things first, you want to grab you a handful of zip ties. Also use twist ties as well. I mainly use twist ties to kind of hold things in place. But after you have all your cables secured onto the motherboard, first thing to do, grab your case fans, kind of just put a little twist tie around those, and we're going to pull those to the side. That way we can focus on the other cables. Right now, what I'm doing is I'm basically just getting the case wires all bundled together. That way I can kind of see exactly where they need to go. And I recorded this with me talking through it. I didn't realize my mic pod or the mic set that I bought didn't work right. So I apologize for that. This should be the last voiceover though. I do have that fixed now. So yeah, right now, like I said, we put all the case wires just kind of bundled together, kind of seeing. So we are going to be using a fan hub for this one, so we can get RGB lights because the motherboard doesn't have it exactly. So we're kind of just playing around with that and kind of seeing where we need to put it right now. And then we got our rear fan as well. That's what I just zip tied to the top. You kind of see the path that I'm going with it. Now we're just going to kind of put the power supply in place. Sometimes it's a little tricky once you have those motherboard wires already secured. You just got to squeeze it on in there. And then I'm going to go ahead and put I think 2 screws in here just to kind of hold it in place as well. That way it's not moving around on me, and that way I can kind of see exactly what I'm doing. Now, first thing we're doing, we're identifying which cables need to go where. Always start with the motherboard 24 pin. Run it all the way up, find out exactly which slot it needs to go in, and go ahead and pull all of it, hook it up. Alright, now we got all hooked up. We can kind of see just the path that it's going to go on. Next, we're looking for the CPU power cable. We run it up, we plug it in. CPU power cable is always a little tricky. Sometimes it doesn't want to go in. But now we can kind of see the path that we're going to choose with that. We're just going to run it down the back side of the case. That way it stays out of the way. Here I'm just using a zip tie. I'm not tying it super tight. Really just kind of hold it out of the way for everything else. Next, I found the Molex hard drive connectors. I'm not going to be using those, so I kind of just bundle those up, put them to the side. And then I'm pulling the PCI cable, power cable now for the graphics card. A lot of people, they run these differently. They run them across the motherboard, they run them through the front of the case. I always try to find the hole closest to it, and this one just happened to be directly underneath it. So I went ahead and pulled it through. Here I'm kind of just seeing what slots I have. So like I said, we're not going to be using the SATA cables, really. So we're kind of just bundle those up, zip tie those, keep them nice and tucked away. Kind of snip that edge off just a little bit, and we're just going to tuck them. Now we will use one of the SATA power cables to power the fan hub. But other than that, that's really about it. Here we're kind of just pulling those CPU wires just a little bit tighter, since we know that nothing else is going up and down that way. And we're snipping off the excess of the zip ties. That way, you know, it looks a lot cleaner. Now we're undoing the zip ties that we did for the case wires themselves. And we're actually zip tying it with that 24 pin. Keep that all nice and tucked away, because it kind of follows the same path. You can use either, you know, 2 zip ties, or you can use up to however many you want, really. It's all preference. I like to use multiple zip ties, because I'm always having to redo them, cut them off, put them back on, just to really see the angle that I'm looking for. Now that we got all those nice and tied away, now we're gonna start working on the case fans. Case fans are probably one of the most trickiest ones, because everything has to fall into one place, and then it all comes at a different angles or different places. So here we're hooking all the fans up through the power itself. This one kind of gave me a little bit of problems. It didn't want to go in. Finally ended up forcing it in. And then we pull our RGB connectors out of the way as well. Now a lot of cases, you know, they have room where you can stick this on the back of the case and then put the panel over it. However, this case doesn't have a whole lot of room in there. So one thing we had to do once we put everything together, we kind of just had to tuck it in where we could. You can kind of see that's what I'm doing here. I'm realizing that there's not a lot of room, so I'm just running a little twist tie over this, kind of keep those cables nice and congested. Plugging in the power cable for the fan hub itself. Also plugging in the reset switch. That way, whoever I sell this computer to, they can hit the reset switch at the top. And what that will do is allow them to change the color of the fans if somehow they lose that remote. And then we just plugged in the power cable for the fan hub itself. Now we're just kind of pulling this, tucking it in, seeing where we can put it, what we need to do with it. So we see this is pretty much just going to fit directly in here. So like I said, with the fan hub, it's almost, I mean, you can get it very nice and neat. The only thing is it's a lot harder to do when you don't have a case with the excess room built into it. But this right here, this is just the Montec Air case. So yeah, we're just kind of zip tying it the best we can right now, just to kind of keep those cables tucked in. And we'll see that it's going to fit really nice just right in there. At least so we thought. Now we're just kind of coming up with another plan, tucking the cables in, seeing where it can go, see where the slack can go. So we see if we push in right there, it can go. We're gonna put the back panel over. One thing when you're putting the back panel on, you always want to make sure it's flush. And then put your little thumb screws in, that'll keep it in place. Then we realized that we forgot to pull those cables through, so we didn't take out the slack, make it look nice and clean. We could have used cable extension on this build, however this was just a budget build, and I didn't have any cable extensions at the moment, and I wanted to go ahead and get it listed for sale, so I went ahead and just built it with the ketchup mustard cables. Alright, we got the panel on. We look at it. Everything looks pretty good. Kind of tuck that in just a little bit more. And then here we'll put the front back on. It came with some really white fans to start with, so we went ahead and replaced those front fans. Now everything's plugged in. Do a test, and we have lights and we have fans. That's always a good thing. Now we are just waiting for a post. And I think we saw it. That's why I'm moving the camera. The camera doesn't want to focus too well. Oh, there it is. We got a post. So now we can load Windows on this computer and get it ready for sale. If you guys enjoyed this content, make sure you hit that like button. If you have any questions, anything that you want to see in my future videos, comment down below. I'll be more than happy to help you with anything that I can, or try to inform you of anything. If you want to see more of the content, hit that subscribe button. Helps a ton. And yeah, I appreciate you taking your time every day to watch this video. And I hope y'all have a great rest of your day. Peace. See you in the next one.